The Asian American Pacific Islander Nurses Association of Nevada presents Healthy Mondays with Apina of Nevada. Start the week healthy and right with interesting conversations on living a healthy lifestyle. And now, your Healthy Mondays host, Dr. Mary Faye Axon Armstrong.
Aloha! Welcome to Healthy Mondays with the Apina of Nevada. I'm yours truly, Dr. Mary Faye Axon Armstrong, founding president of the Asian American Pacific Islander Nurse Association of Nevada and professor at Roseman University College of Nursing. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Good evening. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig sa aming programa at patuloy na pakikinig at inahandog po namin ang mga impormasyon na ibibigay namin sa inyo dahil ito po ang aming mission and vision. At I wanted to thank my guest tonight, my childhood friend and now nursing colleague, Analyn Patag. Hi, Annie.
Hi.
Hi, and also Professor Randal Sasa. He is my co-scholar from the Okura Mental Health Scholarship back in 2015 from the International Apina organization. So to recap, maraming salamat pag-join nyo. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
And to recap, last Monday, we talked about how this global pandemic, and COVID-19 is affecting everybody. And we looked at it at different perspectives, different angles, different of experiences of different people all around the world. I had interviewed Dr. Ray Serafika from University of Nevada, Las Vegas, as well as Dr. Kay Fontanilla from College of Southern Nevada. Both are teaching in the School of Nursing in the Valley here at Southern Nevada. And we are airing from Henderson, Nevada. We talked about a lot of information, a lot of aspects of how the nursing faculty are experiencing the significant and drastic changes in the nursing education. And I wanted to touch upon how different people from the different states, United States, and eventually all around the world, how are they being affected by this global pandemic. And I wanted to ask my guest tonight to talk about a little bit about themselves and their background and where are they coming from. So let's start with ladies first. Annie.
Hi, so it's Annie here. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I've been nursing the last 20 odd years and started with my diploma and completed my bachelor's and dual master's of nursing and health administration from 2010. So I've been a professor faculty in a college, George Brown College, and also as an adjunct professor at the University of Toronto from 2007. And still currently working as a contractual at George Brown College, working with international educated nurses. So that's basically how I was being, fulfilling, my vision as well to help out specifically international educated nurses on how they will be able to enter nursing, re-enter nursing, and reclaim their RN in North American nursing profession.
Welcome to Healthy Mondays. Professor Sasa.
Hello, magandang gabi po. Randal Sasa. I currently am teaching at City University of New York, Queensborough Community College. I've been a nurse for almost 2 decades now. I started in the Philippines, of course, UP College of Nursing with my bachelor's. I worked in PGH. Then I started teaching in FEU, came to the United States in 2013, started out in a long-term facility, moved to Bellevue Hospital in New York in 2015. Around the time that the Ebola scare was happening, I was actually part of the Ebola team that responded at that time. And then I got my teaching position at City University in 2016. And now I feel that life has come full circle. We have another pandemic, the COVID. Like, iniwasan ko yung Ebola, ito naman.
Yeah, I know. I remember I was supposed to go to Uganda that year in 2000. Is it 2017?
It's around 2014 when
2015.
Dr. Spencer, if you know, is the first case in the United States.
Yeah.
And then 2015, it was starting to dwindle down, really. And that was the time that I was in Bellevue.
Yeah. So, our listeners, I just wanted to tell you the geography that we are here bringing this information to you as we will tackle some questions and some perspective that we are experiencing globally. So, Annie is connecting with us from Canada,
Mhm.
specifically Toronto, right?
Yes.
Yes, and then Professor Sasa here. How would you like me to address you,
Randall, just call
Randall?
me Randall, please.
Randall. Okay, so let's just go in a first name first
Yes.
first basis. So yeah, and Randall is from New York City.
Yep.
So here you go, and I'm connecting from Henderson, Nevada. Here now it's a sleepy Las Vegas Strip here. Everything is closed down. So the second question that I have here, now that we know a little bit about information about our guest tonight, is giving the thoughts about significant and drastic changes that's happening in the nursing profession or in the healthcare field, coming from Canada and coming from the New York City perspective.
Mm.
Who
Please.
wants to go first? Go ahead, Randall.
Oh, okay. So for New York City, I mean, we are the epicenter of the world, really, right now, in terms of cases. Um, well, it was last week that we had like one death every 2 minutes, and that is in the news. It is estimated that there's like 81,000 deaths in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. So it's really scary. And for us, for me in particular, in the academe, the focus really has been from shifting to face-to-face education because I teach in a community college. We shifted to fully online, and that has been quite a challenge for most students. You have to think about them having access. Do they have internet? Do they have laptops? All of those needed to be factored in. On the side of practice, I feel that we really are on survival mode in New York City. Governor Cuomo has called for retired um, nurses and nurses in academia to sign up. And as of last week or 2 weeks ago, it's estimated that they have around 50,000 retired and benched. I would say benched, and I'm part of that. I'm a bench nurse right now because I teach. So that really is the focus in terms of innovation. I feel that we really are focusing on giving alternative clinical experiences, and that includes virtual simulations, videos, HESI case studies, things like that, because life goes on, really, and we
Mhm.
still need to graduate nurses. Otherwise, how can we replace those who are in the front lines? So that's it for me in New York.
Mhm. You know, I just wanted to share that last night as I was getting ready uh, to go to bed and check my email last minute, and I saw an email from one of my former students asking for a letter of recommendation. So apparently here in Nevada, that the governor had signed a bill to allow our nursing students who have already almost graduating and have not had a chance to sit for the NCLEX RN board exam, that they're um, allowing the facilities to hire them for the new grad program. And I think that's one way to replenish and to relieve those who are giving their time and actually non-bench nurses, bedside nurses. So that's what's happening here in Nevada. How about in your side of the world, Annie?
So, as I've said, I'm still, faculty at George Brown College. So every day, we receive, updates in regards to the situations in the colleges because it's totally closed down, right? So because right now 60% of the winter class is already completed, so what the recommendation is for the students are given options with their grades. It's whatever their mark is at the moment. It's either from A to F. Then they have to decide two options to include that in their to be calculated in their GPA. And another thing is if they choose to be a pass or not pass. If their marks with a 60% of the curriculum been completed and it's not passing, and they felt strongly, that the COVID has something to do with them not passing, so they're given opportunity, to get another chance, for them to complete, the course in a later date. And as Randall was saying, technology is very important as we are moving forward, with, from face to face now to online. And also a struggle, from of my colleagues who is not very familiar with online. They do much of their teaching way back, like doing face to face. Now the college has given us a strategy. It's a proctoring strategy, though all of us should log in our Blackboard, right?
What kind of modification is happening in Canada's healthcare?
It's not like a modifications, I must say, but reinforcement of educations amongst the population, right? We can always say about the social distancing, which has been always part of the media, part of everyday conversation that was relayed to by a prime minister, right? And also in Ontario, we have everyday update from our prime minister, also from our premier in Ontario. So all the provinces, the premiers have an everyday update of what's happening. The next thing is, as nurse educators, I must say, take all the opportunities to educate, re-educate, and reinforce educations to the community. Like as Randall was saying, people get panic in terms of using the N95, which is supposed to be for healthcare providers, ICUs, or people, has high contact, with populations who are having these illnesses. However, but because people panic, right? So they don't have the full understanding of why they're using gloves, why they're using the face mask. Well, in fact, they use the gloves and they touch the cell phone, they touch their faces. So for me, is as nurse educators, take us up the opportunity on every occasion for us to educate, or whoever regarding the proper use of our PPEs.
Yeah, I know. We're really back to basics. I was just looking at some of the photos that I had taken. I wanted to bring the Uganda trip that we had last year in 2019, where we incorporated a basic hand washing. So before we allowed the community to come in and do our head to toe assessment and having them do health education, this is at the church, and then being seen by the doctor and being prescribed medication, we required them to do a demonstrating a basic hand washing outside with soap and water and before they register. So I think that we're looking at our situation now that it is basic hand washing, 20 seconds. Please, with the soap, and then whole idea with the foam that carries the bacteria along as we wash. Yes. So I wanted to go back to Randall when he was talking about boosting our immune system. I think that it also not only goes to our bedside nurses and our healthcare providers, but also for those who are immunocompromised and healthy people. I'm looking at the social media and a lot of young people, even those who are all buff up and healthy people, have died from the complications of COVID-19. So between the two of you, maybe we can emphasize to our listeners, what does it mean to boost our immune system?
Well, I feel that that's really what we can do. You have to make sure that your body is strong enough to fight off the virus. because you may get the virus and not manifest with any manifestations or any signs and symptoms. Your body will just kill the virus, and that is what we want. And how do you get improved immune systems? You sleep well, you eat well, you exercise, you meditate, take some extra vitamin C. So these are simple measures that we can do to really improve and boost the immune system to fight off the virus. Because at the rate we're going, especially in New York City, the projections is that there's a 50% chance that the person whom you will encounter in the street has the virus. So you have no control over that, especially for us in New York City. Eventually, this will be the same thing all over America and in Canada, I think. So it's really our best defense. Boost the immune system, hydrate, sleep well, vitamin C, exercise.
So in addition to that, just basic foods like I make sure I have mandarin, oranges, vitamin C. There's a lot of sources for vitamin C, fruits and vegetables. I have those cuties, those little mandarin cuties that I would eat like snacking on it instead of chocolate bars. I also have some chocolate bars, but one chocolate bar a day. But vitamin C with all the resources for vitamin C. Orange juice, like I would have like a glass of orange juice in the morning. And also exercise is another one to boost your immune system, open up all your cells and your oxygenation supplies. And in sleep, you mentioned about sleep. I have a teenager who's been playing video games. Midnight, he's still awake. I can hear him. This morning I heard him. He didn't sleep all night and said, "You better go to sleep now and get at least how many hours? 8 to 10 hours at least." But for those who are studying, I remember 3 to 5 hours is good enough for me. But then now that we are stay home, you can get that 8 to 10 hours sleep. I can hear him last midnight. I was like, "Okay, I'm in bed already." So my schedule is that by 8:30, my iPhone would tell me it's time to sleep, and then it would actually turn off all the messages and then give people who are trying to call me then it's my beauty sleep time, And so that boosting our immune system and maybe, who knows, maybe we're all three carriers, but then our body, our immune system has been fighting it. So it's been good. So how about any other addition to how to boost your immune system?
Well, I mean, my vision is being productive. Productive in terms of I redefine my schedule for my 24 hours. So now I'm putting my video to do some exercises. Well, in fact, I haven't done that before. I still have to put my 20 minutes, 30 minutes walk around the block, right? So I did modifications of what my 24 hours day will look like to boost my immune system. Aside from the vitamins, fully hydration, taking more of my citrus fruits to help, with my immune system. And the good thing is now I'm getting good rest, meaning I'm sleeping now like my 6 hours, 7 hours. I'm good with that. But still with the sleeping, of 6 to 7 hours, I'm still being waken up at times of what is this going to impact with the whole economy, because people already, the experts are doing their thing in regard to the healthcare system. But what is this going to impact in the economy after the fact, after the COVID? What is our economy will look like? And that's my biggest scare is for people who's losing their jobs, and the government won't be able to sustain all their necessities, right? So that is something, that was brewing on my mind. What is the community will look like? But for myself, immune system, you have to boost it, so that we will not get carriers, or even though we're carriers, we're not infecting others. So being sensitive and cognizant of the people around you. Like if I go for grocery shopping, I have to make sure that I keep my distancing, and see what the people look like. Not discriminating them, but for myself on how I will be able, to keep myself as healthy as I am. Yeah,
and
so basically being productive.
and be kind.
Yes.
One of the things, basic things that I'm benefiting from this stay home because of the COVID scare is I have more time to do my devotion in the morning. I'm no longer rushing in the morning. I have the luxury to just uh, heat up my water and drink my tea with my teaspoon of honey, raw honey. And then as I'm
Mhm.
drinking my tea, then I'm looking over, which scripture should I read today. Mindfulness is another way to boost our immune system. And you were talking
Mhm.
about your worry about the economy. How is the economy going to be? There's going to be a lot of uh, people who are going to have a hard time with paying their rent, even supporting the family, 3 meals a day, that peace of mind that cannot be
Yeah.
bought. Peace of
Mhm.
mind that cannot be bought because it's part of our well-being. It's part of boosting our immune system, because if you're stressed out and worrying about those things, then it will affect your immune system.
Yep.
So,
If I
yes.
may add something, this is for the public really. I know that there's a lot of buzz around hydrochloroquine or Plaquenil,
Oh,
which is the medication that the American president is promoting on TV. Guys, it is not for everyone. Okay, there are some studies that propose that it is effective for some viral infections. What doctors are doing right now is that they're testing it on COVID patients. It doesn't mean that it is a proven medication. Nothing has been proven yet. This is a new virus. We don't know if this treatment will work or not. And definitely, it is not for you to self medicate on anything, because you could die from a fatal arrhythmia from it. So it's only
yeah.
intended to be used under supervision by doctors. Please, guys.
Great point, Randall. Great point. Because yeah, those are the medication that you had mentioned is an anti-malaria pills.
That's true.
One of the
Yeah.
medication that's offered every year that I go to Uganda, that's being offered. I didn't go for that. I'm taking the Malarone every year that I go, because that particular medication can cause hallucinations, and it's being used primarily by military personnel who travel all over the world for their mission. And as you mentioned, they're trial and error. It's not working for everybody. It just happened to work for those particular population, that particular
Yeah.
infected COVID-19 infected person. It is
Mhm.
a medication for virus, because malaria is caused by viral. Um, and also, I heard also, I don't know if you heard about HIV, certain HIV medications are also had worked for some people, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. So
That's
it's
right. Yeah.
be careful. How is it on your end in
Mhm.
Canada, Annie?
Yeah, that was mentioned as well with our Minister of Health, right? Two medications, isothyramycin and hydrochloroquine, right? Again, both anti-malaria drugs. We are not recommending, as per the Ministry of Health. And the fact, like, recommendations is we have to ensure that we educate the public, leading them to the websites, CDC, WHO, legit government websites, for them to have more information in regards to the COVID-19, or any informations that we educate our people, whoever we can reach. Because, media is media, right and left, front, back, every minute, every second. You're going to see on any social media, right? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, name it, right? Everything now is about COVID. But there are people, they're taking disadvantage, is a disadvantage in terms of people not really understanding what is the whole, what is the dilemma, what is the whole thing around the COVID, 19 itself. So again, it's education. Again, part of being an educator is to educate, reinforce informations, let's tell our, our family, our friends, the websites, that we can lead them, legit websites, CDC, WHO, right? Government websites. Because once they go to the Facebook or any other social media, they get lost, right? In terms of understanding or misunderstanding or misinterpreting what they're reading, right? And that scare people, of not knowing what the true facts are. And right now, what are the facts is still hanging out there. We are not entirely sure what of the strains of this coronavirus will look like, right? Because I've been part of SARS in 2003, right? I've been in the hospital, I've been quarantined. So I went through this process. But because when Toronto was, we have those cases that we cannot define what it is, we report right away to our region of health, and then our ministry reported to CDC right away. And that's why we were locked down right away, reporting to CDC. But what happened with us right now, we don't know what happened exactly, right? Well, in fact, it was already brewing from other country. And we are exactly left, untold of anything like this. For SARS, it was the communication to CDC that brought us Toronto. We were locked down. We are not so happy with it. But that's how we contain it. In 3 months, 4 months, we were able to get back to our normalcy because we were contained. We are, and then we follow regulations, right? But again, we cannot go to any political, discussion in those regards,
Yeah.
right? We can't.
Yes,
We
you're
can
so
step
right. Yeah, time is of the essence. I think that's what
exactly.
in the back of my mind, that's what happened. It was not reported timely, and
Yeah.
it was not reported timely. So, and be wise. I think listeners out there, listen to what we're talking about here. You need to be wise in discerning what is the truth, and you do your, I mean, social media. The information is in the tip of your fingers, but you have to learn how to discern on what to follow. So do your research, do your research of what to follow. Don't just take any medication that you hear on the media, Facebook and Instagram and whatever social media that you are involved with, and be wise to discern. Back to the basics, always wash our hands. And Annie pointed out about wearing the gloves. One of the I don't know if she's a med surg nurse or ICU nurse, and she demonstrated what happens when you wear gloves and you don't know the process of transmission of bacteria, and then in this event. So know why you are doing what you're doing, and protect yourself. If and listen to instructions, follow instructions. That's when but you get in trouble when you're not listening to instructions. If everybody says, I mean, I feel so bad and sad that our kababayans in the Philippines, most of them are not listening. Please listen. Ang tigas ng ulo nyo. Ganun gusto kong gustong sabihin. So the same here in the United States, at least here, from my own experience, I try to just go grocery shopping once a week. And so when I go, I watch people and I hear someone sneezing, I run to the other aisle, 6 to 8 feet of the droplets, learn and understand what is the transmission process of this virus. And I start wearing my gloves, my mask, because I don't know when people are gonna sneeze at me. I was checking out at the counter, and then one of the he happens to be a Filipino, and he said some people don't even cover their mouth; they just sneeze. And be
Right.
considerate when you sneeze. At least do something. So then, just in case you're a carrier. So there's so much to talk about. Time flies when we're having fun. Thank you both for sharing your insights and your perspective and your side of the world from Canada and from New York City. I think my last question here is, because we're running out of time, but I'm having fun. Don't get me wrong. It's been fun listening to your stories, also your perspective. So last words of wisdom, last words of advice to our listeners as a nurse educator's perspective, in a clinical nurse perspective. Ladies first. Annie from Canada.
Nurse educator perspective. Continue to reach out to all our students, ensuring giving them emotional support in these difficult times, and also reinforcing, the basics, social distancing, getting our immune system back up again, and prayers. Educators will be there, for them, every step of the way. These things will be gone, soon enough. We don't know. However, as nurse educator, we have to ensure we impart, to our students, to our family, to our any part in the community that, COVID-19 is something serious, that we have to be very cognizant in terms of, following instructions of staying home, and understanding, where the government is coming from, as we would like to have this COVID-19 be gone soon enough. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
Yes. For me, I think stay home. That is the main takeaway message. Stay home, avoid being in public. But if you do need to get out of the house, again, social distancing, you don't need to wear gloves. Just do frequent hand washing or use your alcohol-based hand rub. And then for those who are in healthcare, or those who are other frontline people, like we forget about our grocery staff. So the grocery people, they still go to the grocery to sell things. If you think that you may have been exposed to somebody who has the virus, once you get home, make sure that there will be no touching, no kissing. You will go to the shower right away, take a good shower. The clothes that you think that has been infected, put them separately and wash them right away. So these are very, very simple steps that we can do to avoid having COVID. And again, immune system, boost your immune system.
So there you have it, our listeners and mga kababayan. Take good care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit. And that is how you're going to be able to boost your immune system. And you heard from Randal from New York City and Annie from Canada. Thank you so much for being our guest tonight. Also, always, thank you PHLB Radio for partnering with us and bringing all this important, pertinent information to our listeners. So mga kababayan listeners, remember, every Monday is a healthy Monday. Aloha!
The Asian American Pacific Islander Nurses Association of Nevada has just brought you Healthy Mondays with Apina of Nevada.